Hey there, folks, and welcome back to This Life Without Limits. I'm your host, Weston McWhorter, and on today's episode, I'm going to be giving you an update on week 3 of my treatment. And I just wanted to say that, I know a lot of you will listen to this episode on Spotify or Apple Podcast or some other streaming service. But I would really encourage you, if you can, to go and check out the YouTube video of this. I'm sharing in there. I just put quite a bit more effort into the edit for this week. And I'm sharing some visuals in there that are really supportive of the story that I'm going to try and share with you today. As you can hear, I'm kind of a little froggy this morning. I'm recording this Monday morning, September 23rd, the beginning of week 4 of my treatment. And yeah, mornings are always a chore in kind of getting my voice clear so that I can do this effectively. But nevertheless, really grateful for you dropping in with this episode and joining me today. When I originally conceived of this, I was putting my notes down. I realized that I had the order, the sequence of how I wanted to share today, a little mixed up. And so this episode in particular is going to be about relationships and the important component that I believe that relationships play in how disease forms in our body, how disease forms in our families, how disease forms in our communities, in our world. I'm no expert on this, but I will tell you, just kind of as a side note, my sleep has been a little weird. Over the last week, I found myself waking up at 3:00 in the morning, not out of a panic or anything like that, but it's I just kind of wake up. I have ideas, I have inspirations, I have things I want to write down, things I want to talk about, things I want to do. And so I just run with that. It's farmer hours, I guess. My granddad would have been, would understand that early wake up call thing. So anyway, I woke up this morning. Excuse me. I woke up this morning about 3 and I realized what I wanted to talk about today. So here goes. I wanted to just first of all say that last week 3 of my treatment really was all about the people who were around me. I started off the week, my son Arlo was with me last week, and his mom and I share custody of him. He's kind of a week on, week off with each of us. And so Arlo was with me last week. And if you know me in real life, and if you know my son in real life, you know how incredible that dude is. And how much I really love being around him and just get so jazzed up by his life and what he's into, and how I can support him and guide him and just becoming a really, really incredible young man in this world. So he was with me all week, which was really a lot of fun. And my daughter also came and spent some time with me. My daughter Abigail came and spent some time with me Thursday during my chemo treatments. Her mama, her and Arlo's mama, came over Thursday night and brought dinner, which was really cool to have her join us as well. And most importantly, this last week, my father came into town on Wednesday to spend a few days with me, just going with me to chemo, spending all day with me on Thursday, going to my radiation treatment with me on Friday, and then just having some special time to spend together on Saturday. And, what I wanted to say about that is that, my dad and I, for a long, long time, have had a relationship that I think has really just been defined by lack of understanding of each other, lack of trust in each other, just kind of fundamentally being disconnected. And I love my dad, I always have. And he is, well, first of all, let me just say this. My dad's a crier. He'll cry. Super emotional dude, which I really love. I never, I guess maybe I learned how to cry from my dad. I don't know, but it comes very easily for me and comes very easily for him. He's, really got a huge heart. And so, I'm probably going to not be able to get through this without, some emotions coming up. But, I've really been calling in this year an opportunity to begin to find a way to repair that relationship with him. And as I have, kind of been repairing my relationship with myself over these last couple of years, that was the next one that I felt like was so important. And I'm so lucky to still have him in this life, and to be willing to begin like taking the steps necessary to create opportunities for us to get to know each other anew. And so that's really how we interacted with each other in these last few days. I've shared this before, but we recently lost my stepmother, his wife of 43 years. She passed in late July. In fact, she passed almost simultaneously to the time when I was coming out of my tonsil biopsy at Johns Hopkins. Like I was coming out of the operating room, and that's when her spirit left her body. And, she is an incredible woman. And that was, not only evidenced by the incredible turnout for her services at the beginning of August, but just, all the reflections that our family received from, people who knew her for her whole life. And so my dad has been in some deep, deep grief, understandably. And having the opportunity to, just have some one-on-one time with him, to, hold him in that process, to listen to him share, what's changing for him, what's so hard for him. And just to be there, was just, such an honor. And, I look forward to continuing to share that space with him as it's available, So I just wanted to, add some context there, that my dad is really in his own process as much as I'm in my own process right now. And so it was really just this incredible time to begin to, like, for my own work, just to begin to drop into my heart, to drop the defensiveness that I've held onto for so long, the resentments that I've held onto for so long, the anger, the separation, all the stories that I've run in my head for decades about the nature of this relationship and why it might never be able to be repaired and why we're never going to understand each other and why this relates to what I'm sharing with you today is that, that creates a cancer in a relationship between two people, and the only way to begin to heal that is to really go inside of myself, let's say, and to begin to unpack those stories, to rewrite those stories, to begin to sort of remove those limitations that I have put on all the possibilities of how that relationship could be. So we had a good time together. Saturday especially was a really powerful day. We went and we had the opportunity to live up here in the DC area when I was about 5 years old. My dad came up to work for USDA. He was on an assignment for about a year. And so he and my mom and my baby sister and I moved up here for that assignment. And we had this apartment out in Alexandria, Virginia, that, we visited a couple of times in the past, but I never really dropped in and connected with him on it. And so, I shared with him, I was like, let's, we got Saturday off. I feel pretty good. Let's get in the truck and drive over there and walk around. And he was like, all right, let's go, and so, so we did. I'm going to share a couple of pictures here of us cruising around the apartment complex. But, we went and, he was just reminiscing about how me and my baby sister used to play in this playground that was right behind our apartment. I have this core memory also, and he was sharing about sledding down this big hill that kind of went into a parking lot, and and we would sled down that when it would snow in the wintertime. And, he wanted to, we walked in kind of the door of the apartment and down into the basement. He wanted to show me where the washing machine and dryer used to be and, which apartment was ours and all this kind of stuff. And, I was just listening to him, share those memories and, all the excitement that he had about his life at that time. And, the vision that he had for his family and for his career and for, just the world, man. And it was, both, it was really sweet. And I guess probably the better word is it was very bittersweet to hear him tell those stories because, it wasn't too long after we got back home to Texas that, he and my mom, their relationship fell into disrepair. And my mom ended up leaving in the winter of 78. And I think that's about right. And, that event, really, I would say that event really set the stage for how my relationship with my father and my mother and myself, frankly, began to, degrade, I guess, or it really set the foundation of how my life would begin to manifest for the next 4 decades, really, and, after we went to the apartment, we went to the First Baptist Church, I think I've mentioned this before, but my dad is, I grew up Southern Baptist. My dad is a very religious man. His faith is very, very important to him. And it's something that he holds near and dear. And I love that about him. And I, so we jumped in the truck and rolled over to the First Baptist Church, and he kind of peeked in a couple of windows. Yeah. It looks the same as it did when we were here. And then we went to dinner after that. And down in Old Town Alexandria. And, just during dinner, he asked me about some things that I had shared previously that I wanted some space to really kind of dig into. And, I just he allowed me to kind of like share from my heart, um, what my experience of life has been and why I think, things have been so difficult between the two of us for so long, and I was grateful to him for, allowing me to kind of share. And I also, open space for him to, to share as well, just with the idea that like, the past is in the past. There's nothing to change. There's nothing to fix. We can't do anything differently. Everything in this life happens for us. It like without all of the pain, the suffering, the heartache, the anger, all of that, like, we're not here in this present moment. Like we don't have this opportunity to share this meal, to share this conversation, to connect in this way, So, and of course, we're both trying to like, eat bites of shrimp linguine, and I had some sea bass thing, and we're wiping away tears, and the waiter's like, "What the hell's going on with these guys over here?" But anyway, it ended up just being like a really beautiful moment of connection that I think from both of our perspectives represents a new beginning, right? Like a clean slate, a fresh place to begin from. And I cannot tell you how good that feels, and how like spacious that feels, and how like, even though it's, probably going to be kind of wonky and not really like perfect, and who cares, right? But it's like just to have that that opportunity to kind of clear some things and say some things and just show up with our hearts open was really beautiful. So I think that's, probably a good place to land that. Again, Dad, I'm specifically going to ask you to watch this episode because, I love you, man. And I'm so grateful for you in my life. All right. So thank you all for listening to that. So let's dive into how I was feeling last week. Started off the week pretty rough. I'll be honest with you. Last Sunday, I really last weekend I didn't get the kind of like rest and recovery that that I really should have in order to kind of set myself up. And so, really, the way I look at week 3 is a lot of lessons. I, came into Monday. I had a little bit of a fever. I was starting to develop a cough in my chest, some drainage, and I noticed that I had a fever coming up. Not too high, just maybe like 99, 100, kind of low grade. But I've been told, that like by my doctors, is if fever starts to present itself, like let us know. So I also noticed that I was starting to have some like pretty gnarly swallowing pain. Chalking that up to, the radiation really starting to kind of like have an effect in my oral cavity. But I took some ibuprofen on Monday, knocked the fever down, got some rest, and I woke up Tuesday morning, and I was just noticing, like in the back of my mouth, like just feeling a lot of, I don't know, it's blockage, right? And I looked in the mirror, and my uvula, which is that little dangly thing in the back of your throat, my uvula was really distended and swollen. And, part of that was expected because the way that my radiation field is, especially on the side where I'm getting the treatment, the radiation field actually encompasses part of my uvula. I guess depending on which way my head's tilting, like more or less of it, because I can't control that shit, right? It's just dangling back there. But I noticed that there was like kind of what looked like mucus at the top of it. I don't know. It was just kind of gnarly, sort of gray green stuff. I'm going to share a picture in the video. So for any of you that are squeamish, just, beware of that. But there was, kind of some, whatever this buildup was at the top of my uvula and also up into my soft palate. And it was painful, and I couldn't really swallow very well. And I was starting to develop a lot of this mucus, and really kind of like getting myself, excuse me, getting myself into a little bit of a panic around like, oh my God, like what's going on in my body? Like, well, I'm only, 3 weeks into this day. I'm just starting my third week, what's week 6 going to be like? So having a lot of this, like, anxiety coming up. And so I went in to see my doctor on Tuesday. I had a meeting with my my medical oncologist, Dr. Budati. And he looked at my throat and he's like, yeah, man, like your temperature's gone. Like your blood labs look great. Like you're good to go for chemo this week. And I said, well, I'm just concerned about what's going on in my throat. And so he looked in there and he said, well, it doesn't look like it's something called thrush to me, but go check with Dr. Cutt when you get a chance today, and have her take a look at it. And so I ended up seeing her, I think Thursday morning, maybe it was. I don't remember now exactly, but anyway, ended up seeing her and she prescribed, some medicine to help kind of like knock that down. It's been pretty helpful. And, so really like last week primarily was all about trying to figure out how to eat anything. And as I've mentioned before, like me maintaining my weight is one of the most important things that has been emphasized during this process, and I'll be honest with you, like I'm down like quite a bit. I think I started this journey at 178. And I'm down to like 160s now, and I, again, have no desire to land in the hospital during this process. I have no desire to have a feeding tube put in my body to try and help with that. Help with keeping me nourished. So, week 3, I would just say, was like a real wake up call in terms of like not only how I can anticipate, this treatment continuing to affect my body, but also what I need to do to counter that. Do the best I can to get in the kind of 2,500 calories that I'm needing to get in each day, just to maintain. It's not like I'm going to gain weight right now, but I don't want to really try to lose anymore. So yeah, I will say that, as the week progressed, like Thursday, I actually had like a really great lunch. I was able to eat, I think, a few different meals on Thursday, which was great to have like actual food. Friday, I felt pretty rough. I'm feeling like Fridays and Saturdays are going to be, my pretty rough chemo and radiation recovery days. And, like I said, Saturday night, my dad and I went out to dinner, and I was able to kind of like eat some, some soft fish. I'm noticing though that like dairy, um, is out, it's just like, I mean, I, I've always prided myself on the ability to hock a good loogie, but this is like next level, man, So, um, anything that adds mucus to whatever is going on in here already is like straight out. Also, anything that's even like remotely spicy is way out. And I'm talking about like the littlest amount of black pepper, So, um, so that's the journey I'm on, is like really returning back to like full baby mode. and and I'm fine with that. I love soup. I love applesauce. I love cream of wheat, and I've got these crazy like drink supplements that are like 500 calories a piece and a lot of protein, and it's obviously like manufactured food, but I'm here for it for the duration of this thing. So, something to celebrate. Last week, I passed through with that chemo treatment. I passed through halfway of my chemos. So I've had 4. I got 3 more to go. And this coming Tuesday, well, actually today, will be my 17th radiation treatment. So I'm also basically between today and tomorrow passing through halfway on my radiation treatment. So, just feeling really good about that. And also feeling good about like having a workable strategy around like hydration and rest and nutrition. And just realizing that like the only things that I want to show up for the next 4 or 5 weeks is, number one, myself, right? My son, my daughter, my partner, and like this work, right? And I'm just hoping that I'm able to continue doing this as these treatments progress. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this episode just by sending out like so much gratitude to everybody who continues to drop in like private messages, hit me up on social media, dropping comments on the videos that I'm sharing, subscribing to this channel. All of that is just so appreciated. I love you all. I'm so grateful to each and every one of you for your care, for your support, for your encouragement, and just like continuing to show a lot of love. I'm just really grateful for that. Also, just want to say a special shout out to all the people who have dropped in on my GoFundMe page, the GoFundMe page that Cray and I set up back before we even started on this thing. For most of you, that I lost my job like in week 2. So, and I'm not really even thinking about that right now. I'm just focusing on being present for this treatment and the healing that's coming, on the other side of this, being present for my family. So, so thank you to everybody who has dropped in on the GoFundMe. I'm of course including links everywhere I can. If you're interested in supporting in that way, I would be, very grateful for that. And if you have contributed or you just want to share that link with anybody else that you think might be interested in supporting and hearing this story, also appreciate that. And I just wanted to say that, like, again, my only goal here is to just be of service, to share my experience. I hope that it connects with you personally in some way. And if so, if you feel like if it can, connect with somebody who might need support, feel free to share, I'm all about that. So, and the last thing I want to mention is that, I've been teaching leading meditations on Insight Timer, which is an app-based, it's an app-based meditation platform. And this coming Saturday, September 28th, and in fact, it is at, just checking my calendar real quick. It is going to be at 2:45 Eastern time. And I'll put a link in the show notes to this. But I'm going to be on a special episode with a couple of other teachers on the platform who are either experiencing cancer in their body right now, or they have been through that process before. And just, it's kind of an AMA type of a episode, so an opportunity to kind of connect with those of us that are teachers on that platform. So if you're on Insight Timer, maybe check it out. If you're not, get on Insight Timer. I'm a big fan of meditation. So, it's been a powerful tool in my process throughout my life. So, with that, I'm going to dip. It's so good to see all of you today. I hope this episode served. It was really, what a week. Week 3 was. I'm excited to get week 4 going, and I'll try to drop in with an update next week. All right. Sending you all a lot of love, and just a reminder to be good to yourselves and be good to others. We'll see you back here soon. All right. Peace. That's it for this episode of This Life Without Limits. I hope you enjoyed this conversation and will join me again for future episodes. If you want to stay updated on new releases, hit the subscribe button below, and don't forget to check out the show notes for additional details and links. I'd also love to hear what you think about the content of this episode, so please feel welcome to drop any comments, thoughts, questions, critique, any of that below. Thanks again for joining me, and I look forward to next time. Until then, here's to a life without limits, my friends.